Welcome to the solution to problem 4C from Superquiz 3. So again, we're given a series. We want to know if it converges or diverges. And taking a look at it, we see something that looks like an alternator. Not quite sure if it is because there's this weird 2n plus 3 in the exponent. All right, haven't seen that one before. So let's maybe play around with that thing a little bit just to see what it is. So this is negative 1 to the 2n plus 3. I could break that up as negative 1 to the 2n times negative 1 to the 3. Now, 2n is an even number, so when I raise negative 1 to it, I get 1. And 3 is an odd number, so when I raise negative 1 to it, I get negative 1. So actually, this whole thing is negative 1. It's not actually an alternator. It looks like one, but it isn't one. Okay, so alternating series test, not appropriate here. But what could we use? Well, when you have negatives that you don't want lying around, you can always try taking the absolute value, right? Use the absolute convergence test. So let's see. If I take this same series except put absolute values around everything, then the absolute value will kill this negative, which even if I didn't know that negative 1 to the 2n plus 3 was negative 1, I still could take the absolute value and know that I would just get rid of it, because it's either negative 1 or positive 1, right? So it's getting rid of, the absolute value will get rid of it. And then the n squared, that was already positive. So this is the same thing as the series 1 over n squared. And we know that this series converges by the p-test. Right? This is so-called Basel series. So p-test where p is equal to 2. Oops. Okay, but if you take the absolute value of your sequence and the corresponding series converges, then you know that the series where you didn't take the absolute value, that also has to converge. That's the so-called absolute convergence test. So by the absolute convergence test, which we abbreviate ACT, the original series, where we have negative 1 to the 2n plus 3 over n squared, this also converges. All right, so it's tempting here to use the alternating series test, but again, you do want to have an alternator when you do that, and this is definitely not going to be an alternator.